Hey, what's up, guys? Let's talk about my road to $100 million in assets under management. That's my goal, and my goal is to be able to get there by 2023. All right, but let me backtrack, because my goal of $100 million just a couple years ago, I couldn't have even think of a number that big. So I want to actually explain to you kind of my thinking and how I've gone from very small thinking to be able to thinking something this large, which is just my next metric, because my ultimate goal is to have $1 billion with a B, $1 billion of assets. All right, so let's first think about when I just started in real estate. My initial goal was to be able to buy a piece of real estate once a year. I wanted to buy an investment piece of real estate one a year. Okay, so it started with my first house. Okay, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna live in this, and then I'm gonna be able to fix it up, and then I'm gonna, in 1 year, so we'll call it 12 months, okay, then I was gonna go get another one. So I did that once, worked well. I was like, hey, let's just stay on this road, right? So we're gonna go 12 months, and then another one. And I kept going on this track, okay? So over my first 3 to 4 years of being in real estate, I was on track to do this. But waiting 12 months was actually a very long time, because I had to put all my money, right? I had to save up all my money between each one, and I had to put a larger and larger down payment in order to get each property. Now, it was okay. I was getting cash flow, but once I started seeing actually money coming in from my first investment property, it became addicting. I was very excited. I was like, hey, I need to get more of that. So I got excited, got the second one. I was like, all right, if I can just speed up this process, how do I figure that out, right? So then I get a third one. I'm like, all right, this is taking too long. I find deals, I like deals, they're getting great returns, I know I can make money on it, but for me to work in between each property and have to save up all this money, it's just taking too long. My way to scale is taking way too long. All right, so what I did is I had a mind shift. All right, this is when I started shifting and go from, instead of one property here, a single family residence, I then said, hey, what if I can just get something a little bit bigger, right? A couple more doors in it, right? An apartment complex. So then I went up to an 8 unit, okay? 8 units, all right? And pretty much what I did is I actually just doubled my portfolio overnight. And I put all my effort into this property alone, finding that one property, putting all that together, bringing in investors, all that stuff. I put all my effort into one property rather than trying to put all my effort into finding multiple different properties, going to look at deals all the time. It was a lot of work, or it was pretty much just as much work to get one property over here as it was to get an actual apartment complex. And that's when the light bulb switched for me, where I doubled my portfolio overnight. My cash flow was significantly higher. My return on investment was significantly higher. And that's when I started to put a process around what I was actually doing. So what did I do? All right, I started making some requirements. So I needed a cash on cash return, okay? That was something that I started to look at. I needed an IRR, internal rate of return, that I needed property to meet. And then my third was an equity, okay, multiplier. Okay, I needed to multiply my money. All right, so now my way of thinking and how I'm actually scaling my business is significantly different. That's why I've been able to go from a goal of one property a year, which even if I did that over 30 years, I was gonna have a portfolio totaling maybe $1 million, couple $1 million tops. And now pretty much within a couple years, I'm thinking about 100 million. That's insane, but this is the exact thinking. Okay, so now I have an equity multiplier. I have a process now that works. Okay, so now if we look in today, okay, we'll say 5 million. So this was January 2020. Okay, how do I get to 100 million all the way over here? How do I get that much by 2023 December? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you my exact plan. Okay, so by the end of 2020, so we'll call it December 2020, I need to have 10 million here. Okay, I need to double my portfolio. All right, now once I have that, I'm actually, while I'm acquiring that 10 million, I'm actually appreciating this property and I'm cash flowing my current 5 million. All right, so now what I can do is, starting January, I'm going to be at 10 million. So by December of 2021, okay, I need to be at 25 million. So I'm gonna just barely not only double my current portfolio, but then my property is gonna appreciate, might be able to refinance, take some money out of these. Okay, so now by the end of 2021, I need to be at 25 million. Now, the next big thing, right? So if we look at December 2022, okay, I need to now be at 50 million, okay? All right, and then that leads me all the way into December 2023 where I'll be able to double. So now I'm actually just doubling my portfolio every year while my properties that I'm having are not only cash flowing, but they're appreciating in value. They have great returns because I have certain requirements that have been proven, tried and true, to be able to work and be able to multiply. Right? So now this might seem like an ambitious goal, but in fact, what I've actually done every year up to this point is not only double my portfolio, but more than double. So if I can stay on this track, then I should easily be able to reach 100 million by 2023. It's an ambitious goal if you think, hey, I just want $100 million in assets, right? But if I actually have a plan on how I'm going to do that, my goals that I need to meet every single year, and then I can even break this into every single month, quarterly, whatever I need to do and acquire assets. And now I have a proven process with metrics that are proven to work. This goal is a lot more attainable. All right, and that's how I've been able to expand my mindset, expand my wealth mindset to go from maybe a couple million, maybe a couple properties to now $100 million in assets that I eventually want to be able to turn into $1 billion in assets. So I want to encourage you to start thinking outside the box, start thinking bigger. All right, the bigger that you think, then this first house that you want to get is going to be a lot more attainable, a lot easier. You're not going to overthink that investment. But this $100 million goal would never be feasible without starting right here. So I want to encourage you, if you're looking to get into real estate, you got to start, and you got to start now, be able to build up some of that focus, some of that execution, all right, be able to build these properties up, and then you too will be able to have a huge goal of $100 million or whatever you want to be able to do. And all this generates one thing. I talk about it a lot. Legacy wealth, but more importantly, you get your time back. You get to live life on your own terms, do what you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want. And that's the ultimate goal. We get to live life on our own terms.